This past summer was filled with many exciting sports events, from the NBA Finals to the Olympic Games in Rio. And while the world focused on the many athletes in Brazil, Elon had its own international travel and competition. It has taken quite the journey to get to Elon. As you see here, Elon's right about here, the North Carolina area, and to get to Nepal, you have to cross through the Atlantic Ocean, Africa, the Middle East, and then you'll get to Nepal right here between China and India. It's certainly a long ways away. Next, we hear from Dr. L.D. Russell, a religious studies professor, who wrote a book about NASCAR and racing as a religious experience. Titled Godspeed, Racing is My Religion, Dr. Russell explores the parallels of sports fans and religious faithful. Colorful chairs like these aren't just for sitting. They also represent the color scheme common throughout both Shar Hall and the Revised Communications School in McEwen. But first, we bring you out to the pitch with Elon soccer star Elijah Agu. The sophomore forward is having a breakout season, as his team-leading goal total and multiple CAA Player of the Week honors have shown the sophomore slump does not affect everyone. September 24th, Elon's football team beat William & Mary 27-10. The win gave the Phoenix their second win over a top 10 FCS team in school history. Elon's defense sparked the win as Adrian McClendon, Malcolm Galloway, and Daniel Reed Bennett each recorded an interception for the Phoenix. Whether walking, biking around, or bowling, students took some time off from studying to enjoy Cram Jam this year.
We've been in the library for a few hours in the editing studios today, a lot. So we deserved a break, some candy.
While students loved the new bikes,
10 out of 10 would recommend.
They were just one of several new Cram Jam activities.
This year we brought in massage beds, aqua massage beds, and that was definitely new. We also did a candy buffet, which we hadn't done before, where we had like a large array of candy, and people had little takeout boxes and they can choose what they wanted to do.
While faculty served students breakfast food, and people tried to set a high skee ball score, the candy buffet established itself as a new student favorite.
A couple people told me that they really enjoyed the candy buffet, and if we had just had the candy buffet, it would have been the best Cram Jam yet.
Alex Ofori. Thanks for a great semester, Tom. I'm Alex Ofori, and I'm here today to break down one of the top quarterback prospects in the upcoming NFL draft, Deshaun Watson. Looking at Watson's strengths, one of the main things you'll hear about are his intangibles. Coming off a national championship, he's a proven winner, is a great leader, and has a strong work ethic. When the bright lights come on, Watson has shown he can elevate his game and rise to the occasion. He's also a very mobile quarterback who's been developing a good sense of poise in the pocket. Looking at Watson's weaknesses, scouts think Watson needs to work more on his footwork and improve his mechanics. Scouts are also concerned with his lack of experience in a pro system. He wasn't asked to run a typical pro-style offense, with huddles and snaps under center at Clemson. He also needs to work on working through his progressions more quickly. Watson also needs to improve his accuracy and decision-making, as evidenced by his 17 interceptions last year at Clemson. Ultimately, Watson could probably use a little more development, and I think the best fit for him would be a team like the Chargers, Saints, or Cardinals that has a proven veteran quarterback who can teach Watson the ropes before he takes over the starting job after a year or two. And that's all we have for this draft breakdown. I'm Alex Ofori, One-on-One Sports. It's been just over 2 years since Elon moved from the Southern Conference to the Colonial Athletic Association. Although it's a long-term process, the question looms, has it been successful so far?
Our transition has been ongoing. This is our third year in our new conference, and so we're still figuring out where are the benefits, how is the growth, all those kinds of things. But we were very pleased to be with the group of 10 schools that comprise the CAA. Our recruiting territories have definitely broadened. Our media attention and exposure for the university has been a great advantage. So those kinds of things are a little easier for us to tell that things are progressing very well.
I think it's given Elon University great exposure. I love going into gyms in these big cities and seeing an army of Elon supporters to cheer us on these at these road games. And to me, that's part of being successful. So we're headed in that direction.
Not to be outdone by their new CAA competitors, Elon is getting ready to open their newest athletic facility.
There's been an awful lot of progress across the department, across all of our sports over this last decade, and again, the Shar Center will be the final piece of that to say, okay, we've got everybody in a really good spot. And obviously those facilities are key to our recruiting, so it all ties into our transition to the CAA. It puts us facility-wise right in competition with our CAA members, so it's going to be a big benefit.
With the Schar Center coming up in the next couple of years, that'll definitely stack up against any other gym that will be in our conference. What we have right now with Alumni Gym, it's kind of unique. It's not the biggest place, but it's easy to pack out, and when our fans show up and get loud, it can be a tough place to play.
Another area where Elon's move to the CAA could prove fruitful: recruitment.
I think as we solidify the fact that we're a CAA member and the better that we do in this conference, I think it's only going to be a positive influence as we go out and send the message about this great university.
When kids hear like CAA schools, or they think about schools like in Elon or at UNCW or another school in our conference, I think that kind of lights up in their head. The CAA definitely is one of the premier conferences in the country.
I'd say that a lot of high school players maybe from up north would want to come to a school like Elon University because we're playing against schools that are from their hometown. And since we're playing all up and down the East Coast, we're probably going to get a wider range of players who want to come and play at Elon.
A shift in conferences brings a change in opponents. Christian and McKenna have noticed a difference in the competition they faced since jumping to the CAA.
I think that the CAA is more well-rounded in terms of competition. I know I only spent 1 year in SoCon, but in my 1 year, it seemed maybe more like top-heavy than the CAA is. I think especially for this past year, we showed that anybody could win against anyone in our conference. And it's probably, definitely, at least out of my 1 year in the SoCon, I think it was more competitive my sophomore or my junior year as opposed to my freshman year when we played in SoCon.
From a football standpoint, I'd say that we have better competition than the CAA. This is a great conference that we're in. We're playing against great opponents, and it's always great to see how you match up against the best of the best. They work hard, and they're really keen on their technique, and they execute really well. So we have to play our A game in order to play in this conference.
With the progress made so far, players and coaches alike have lofty expectations for where the Phoenix could be 5 years from now.
In the CAA, I can only speak for college football. I'd say right now we are on the come up. We're really progressing. Under Coach Skrosky, we all trust him, and we're all able to focus under him. So I think that things are going to get continually better and better. And I think in 5 years' time, we'll be at the top of the conference in the CAA.
I think in the next 5 years, the Schar Center will be up. There might be some other building upgrades. But I think, in terms of performance for our teams, I think we want to try to get as many teams as we can into the NCAA tournament. We want to win some conference championships, and maybe even, go further, make some noise in those national tournaments to try to get Elon on a bigger stage than it is already.
While the athletes are focused on wins and losses, that'll be far from the only way Elon looks to measure success in the CAA going forward.
When you talk about success, and particularly in college athletics, I think you have to look at the whole formula. And our formula for success includes what the fan might say, how many games did you win? In our programs, it's really about the experience of the student athlete. Do we have the facilities? Are we competitive in our venues? Are we graduating? Are we doing things that give our student athletes the student experience as well, academically as well as athletically?